they've put in the work. They've done what we've asked them to do. So plus we're at the point where, from a physical standpoint, we've pounded on each other. We've done a lot in pads, and so we're going to freshen them up a little bit, get some work going, and then start on the Rams on Monday.
Jordan's made the transition from a spread offense to a more conventional under center West Coast. That's a tough transition, but he's picked this up pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's a gym rat. He works at it hard. Works at what he's asked to do. Obviously, he has good instincts and understands what we're trying to do in our offense and our concepts, and was able to pick it up quickly.
Have you been around a quarterback who's made that transition so fast?
Yeah, there's been a few that have done that. Maybe not quite as fast as him, but we're still able to pick it up quickly.
What makes him tick?
His heart.
Okay.
And no, you know what?
Can you elaborate a little
bit? No, you know what? He's very competitive. He's a fierce competitor. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's always out to prove. So he has that kind of mindset, and so I think that's what drives him every day when he comes out to practice. So we always talk about coming out and making sure we're practicing with the purpose, and you don't have to wonder what his purpose is when he comes out every day.
September 1st is approaching fast. Does it help in terms of motivation out here that it's so close?
I think you'd have to ask the players that. As coaches, you always want more time. So I don't think there's a coach in America that wouldn't want more time. But having said that, I know the players are tired of beating on each other.
Yeah.
You start being able to know what each other's doing before the ball snaps. So sometimes you get a false sense of security or false sense of you're doing it right on one side of the ball when you kind of have an idea of what's happening, and the players make those adjustments. But I know they're excited and ready to get going. It's been a long time since our last game was Utah, and all the work they've put in the off-season conditioning and coaches' weeks and all the stuff they did this summer, and so I know they're definitely anxious to get started on the Rams.
Why'd you bag the second practice today?
A couple things. One, like I said, we've been pounding on each other pretty good. We went a stretch where we went 9 straight days of basically pads or shells, and we practice the same whether we're in pads or shells. And they understand how we want to practice, and guys are a little weary. And we can get more stuff done through a walkthrough, through film work, instead of just coming out here and going through the motions. I want to make sure if I tell them we want to practice with a purpose, then I got to make sure that we're not just coming out here going through the motions, and that's what you kind of set yourself up for when you just when you get to a certain point, you're getting diminishing returns. And so I feel like they've done what we've asked them to do, and from the workload and from the physical aspect of it, so we can still get a lot of stuff done without banging on each other.
How much of a concern is the depth on the offensive line? I mean, you talked about the starters are set. Beyond that, Dano was really good.
Yeah, you have Dano, you have Jeremy Irwin. So you have a few guys, but that's obviously an issue. That's why we've went out and recruited. I think we got 5 in this class, and probably do another one. So you got to stay healthy, but it's a lot of programs have that. I mean, you have numbers, but it's what the quality is of it, right? It's important that obviously they stay healthy, and that'll be part of the key to the success for us having success this year.
You like the talent there? It's just obviously not experienced.
Yeah, I do. I feel that the job Coach Marshall's done. They understand now. That's probably the hardest transition when an offensive line coach comes in, because they all have their own language. And so last year those guys went through 3 offensive line coaches. As the seniors, they went through Grimes, and they went through Coach Johnson, and then Marshall. So there's times you could see they were thinking and their head was spinning, and we weren't as good as we could have been up there. And I think a lot of it had to do with just the communication issues, because they're always talking up front. They're always communicating, changing calls based on a linebacker, on a safety, on a D lineman moving. So now it's second nature for them.
At any level, the best players
Yeah.
in the field usually are the most successful.
Yes.
What you just mentioned in a college football program, how important between the very best teams and the teams lower,
Right.
the twos and threes. I mean, in that whether it's a role player, like
Right.
not yours,
Yeah.
or depth. I mean,
Yeah.
how big a difference is there between?
That's
maybe
huge.
an elite
Yeah,
team?
I think when you look at when we won the national championship, for instance, we win it with the backup quarterback. We lose Canavis with a shoulder injury. So you have your backup linebacker in. You had some other guys in similar type roles in there playing, but because we had such good depth in, it wasn't a major drop off. Nothing against Darian and Canavis, but those guys were able to come in and play at a high level. And we're getting to that point at a few positions. I feel like our D-line depth is finally on par maybe with other teams in our conference. But we're not like that at every position, and so that's why after this class we'll have good quality depth. We can start recruiting normal because we'll have numbers at every position. And then I think that gives you the opportunity as you move forward to recruit and get more elite players and be a little more selective than what we are right now.